So we know that today we'll be having some discussion. Ohimin Tewia's hotline documentary is titled Violent Shepherd. It's airing later tonight on the JoyNews channel, and it's about the activities of Fulani herdsmen in Agogo Ashanti and its environs. So we'll show you excerpts of it later this morning, and also speak around the subject as a prelude to the premiere this evening on the channel. But let's start discussions on AM Talk. I have with me Al-Hassan Suhaini. He's a member of parliament for Tamale North. Thanks for joining me, Al-Hassan.
Thank you, Roland. It's a pleasure to
How was your weekend?
Alhamdulillah, it was good.
Shukran, shukran. Decibel?
Nah, Kaula.
Right.
Tamale.
That's what?
I didn't see you in Tamale.
No, I know that the NDC organized a unity walk.
Right.
And I monitored the media throughout the period. I heard the numbers were great.
I thought you were going to be part of it. It was magnificent. It was mammoth.
Maybe the next time, if the Accra edition is organized, then I will.
Okay. I think it's this weekend or so. I'll check the date and confirm to you.
Thank you very much, Al-Hassan, for the invitation. It's a welcome invitation. But we have this before we introduce our next guest.
Hello, what is your West? Hello, Ghana. Many Papa B. Little Wayne, Kojo, and a Yohe. The Aya can say many Little Wayne. You support free SHS and BIM live. Big up Napo, big up His Excellency the President. Great initiative. We are fully in support. Free SHS coming live in Ghana. Little bit, more.
We are support free SHS in Ghana. What I say in a train, Sinyama, Nepa, Amana Boom Night, and Mele Web. Let's have school because my bomba is a bad year. We are support free SHS because it's good.
Yes. We are out of here.
So out of there, he's in the studio, and Neyi Jojanda is a member of parliament for Utu Senya West. That's the most important because when he's off his position, which he holds currently, which is a deputy minister position for communications. Good morning to you, Neyi Jojanda.
Good morning, Roland.
That was a great endorsement. There was, I mean, it was a light-hearted moment for all the frustrations that some parents will have to go through, but the bigger good news for the parents out there who would be having their children first year senior high school, and we're told that today is the start of the policy.
Yes, indeed, today is the start of the policy. I'm sure that we'll discuss it, or you want me to go straight into the free SHS?
No, we'll discuss it,
okay,
but
right.
how was your weekend too?
My weekend wasn't bad. I was out there. There was the funeral of the former regional chairman for the MPP, Mr. Gate. And a few things out there in the constituency. So
you were there
yes,
checking business for your constituents.
We were serving.
Yes,
we were serving in humility, honesty, and working hard. I would like to say good morning to my brother. Sometimes I call him my brother. Sometimes I call him my friend. But I'm sure that today we'll be brothers.
Whatever it is, we have a good relationship.
We'll be brothers on the show. And
yes.
good morning
to you. You were not at their unity
viewers.
walk. That was not good.
Well, I didn't invite him because they didn't invite me to Cape Coast when they had their
delegates conference.
Their delegates conference. So I requested for an invitation, but
you were not.
So I also
you could have still. They invited your party, so you could have still followed.
No, I wanted a private special invitation, which didn't come.
I know.
We wanted to come and boom there.
But Neyi Jojanda, free SHS policy. We're told that tomorrow will be the formal launch. Will be at the West Africa school. That's WAS Senior High School here in Accra, and it's just the official commencement. But we've had a number of events, from placement to subsequently the headmasters making comments on it. And now we have the policy starting in earnest today.
Yes, thank you very much, Roland, once again. I think the free SHS is one of the key policies that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had promised Ghanaians. And it was a key component of our campaign, our manifesto promises. We believe that one of the biggest assets that we have as a nation is our human resource or human capital base. And it makes absolute sense for us to invest in building capacity, building capabilities, and building the right skills and competencies in that asset that we have. And so, yes, we thank God. We thank all those that have been part of making sure that this policy becomes ready for execution. And of course, this is the kind of visionary leadership that we've been talking about. Leadership that sees far, leadership that thinks far, and leadership that, despite the challenges that you may face, is able to whip the team in the right direction to be able to deliver on what we believe that is good. I'll be expecting that our friends from the other side will be making a press conference, or be calling a press conference shortly, to endorse free SHS, because when we say that we're campaigning on an agenda for change, creating prosperity and equal opportunities for all, this is one of those things that creates the equal opportunity for all. Right from SHS1, all those who are going into the public institutions or the public schools are going in free. And it's about, I think it's about 420,000 people that are going to benefit. If you assume that every pupil comes from one family, then you know the amount of families that are going to get a relief from not paying school fees, not paying exam fees, not paying for uniforms, not paying for laboratory fees. I mean, everything is absolutely free. And this is not just for the SHS, it's also going to, those that are going through the technical and vocational schools are also going to benefit from this relief. I mean, a quick back of the envelope calculation that a friend of mine did was that for those that would have been to the boarding schools from SHS1 to SHS3, yes, their parents would be saving some 10,000 Ghana cedis over the period. Now, this is money that could be used for other investments, and I think that it's a great time to be a Ghanaian. This is something that is for all Ghanaians to benefit from. Of course, the previous administration built the infrastructure that is enabling the free SHS rollout to take place. And so it's something that all Ghanaians must embrace. And this is just one of the positive things that good leadership is bringing into Ghana, beyond what we're experiencing with the one district, one factories that are being rolled out, beyond what we're experiencing from the entrepreneurship programs that are being rolled out, beyond what we're experiencing with a good economic management and the stabilization of the CD interest rates coming out. So I think clearly God listened to Ghanaians, and His Excellency the President is giving the right kind of leadership that Ghanaians expected of him.
Your initial comments, so
thank you very much, Roland. I think that one thing that has to be made clear before any presentation on this free SHS is that both parties, that is the NPP and the NDC, in the last elections and even the elections before that, had no disagreement whatsoever about the need for our children at the SHS level to enjoy free education. The only difference that existed between the two political parties was the form that it should take. Whereas the NDC promised a progressively free SHS, the NPP promised free SHS now and free SHS for all. So that was the difference. The NDC, indeed, even in government, began the process of making SHS free. Some, I mean, day schools, you know, had their fees absorbed, and some of the fees, even in schools that were required to pay fees, were subsidized, and that was the NDC's way of gradually bringing about a situation where everybody will benefit from the government by way of education without paying for it. Now, the question I ask myself, apart from all the frustrations that parents have gone through as a result of the faulty start, the question I ask myself, which is significant, is what is the NPP fulfilling? Are they fulfilling a free SHS for all like they promised, or they are implementing free SHS progressively, maybe in a different way, but still progressive SHS? Is it free SHS or is progressive free SHS? Roland, that's the question I ask myself every time
And that would be
because the NDC promised progressive free SHS. They, on the other hand, said it wasn't to be, and they wanted to implement free SHS. So the question when I hear them say we have fulfilled our promise, I ask myself is, are they implementing progressively free SHS or free SHS? Because we are told first years are going to benefit, and that progressively others will benefit. Is that what they promised? Progressive? Why were they not candid and honest enough to the Ghanaian people to say that, yes, we are also going to offer progressively free, but our progressive is this form? Why?
And you're coming to this conclusion because they're only giving first years and not second years.
That's one of it. But was it deliberate to deceive? Because NDC said progressively free, and we outlined what we meant by progressive. Why did they say it shouldn't be progressive? Yet the implementation shows they are doing progressively. Why did they deceive the people of Ghana? If they had explained to the people of Ghana that, yes, we agree with the NDC that free SHS should be progressive, but our approach to the introduction of that progressively free SHS is going to be this form, maybe the Ghanaian people would have said, okay, the two parties are promising progressively free SHS. The NDC's form is this, the MPP's form is that. And then based on that, they would have judged the one to choose. But no, they said free SHS for all. But that's moving on. That's my first point on that. So I don't think that was fair to the people of Ghana. I don't think that was fair to the voters, because they did not vote for what they are implementing now. They rejected progressively free SHS, which the NDC promised, and took an SHS for all that the MPP promised. Yet they are getting, progressively free SHS. Then you look at the amount of money that I believe is going into the hype, the billboards.
Wouldn't it have been factored into the budgetary approval?
Roland.
Because I believe the budgetary approval is in excess of
Roland,
400
is
million.
that what our schools need now? You go to some schools and they don't even have places of convenience. You go to some schools, they don't even have furniture. Some don't even have chalk. You have been reporting on it. Look at the billboards. Look at the logo, the T-shirts. Look at them, the T-shirts. Roland, this is waste of money, considering what our schools need today.
For the T-shirts.
I'm talking about all of that. The advertisements, the billboard, giant billboards. You know the cost of putting up a billboard.
You're saying it is wrong?
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just asking myself if that couldn't have been put into better use.
Person, I want to ask you this question.
Can I come in before you?
Okay.
Okay.
No, please, let me finish.
No, when you land.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Continue. You see, I think that, like President Mahama said in Tamale, no amount of propaganda.
We'll be coming to Tamale.
Yes, I know, but it is relevant. What he said is relevant. No, what he said is relevant to the discussion. No amount of propaganda can change the way the people feel, because they know it. So if you want people to testify about free SHS, put the money into ensuring that they benefit and get the fruits of it, and they will be your ambassadors. The billboards will not be your ambassadors. The T-shirts won't be your ambassadors.
You're saying billboards and souvenirs and communication materials are wrong.
The parents.
Is it not rather to give a deeper understanding for people?
Can I please, you guys, I don't know why you are doing this. Can I make my point? Thank you.
I'm sorry that.
Thank you. I don't understand why you both seem to be uncomfortable. But let me proceed. And if you have any rebuttal, you are free to do so.
I'm comfortable. You don't have to say that.
Good. Yes. Because, but I think that the interruption wasn't helpful. When he was flowing. I had disagreements, and I'm sure you, maybe there were questions I would have loved to ask, so it's not been helpful, and I just had to say it. You know, so I think that that wastes that I see around, if redirected into the implementation, would benefit children more, and parents will be thankful for that. Now, again, what are the numbers this year? And why have the numbers so drastically reduced?
Numbers in terms of intake?
In terms of enrollment. Why? Last year, we had about 45,000 students going to free SHS. This year, we had about 47,000 applicants. But only about 25,000 students are being placed.
You mean 200?
250, sorry. Last year, we had about 450.
The rest will be placed, I'm told.
So I'm saying that last year, we had about 450 students. 450,000, yes. Who applied, who were placed. This year, about 470,000 plus students applied. But so far, only 250,000, thereabout, have been placed. Are we asking ourselves why the numbers have reduced that drastically? Is it that the children are not willing to go to school when it is rather free? Or a system that is in place has been made so frustrating and difficult to penetrate through? I'm just guessing. I'm just saying, I'm wondering. And I think that stakeholders in the education sector, the media, should be worried, should find the answers, so that if the answers will allay our fears, then so be it. But I think it is disturbing that we had such numbers last year and such a drastic drop this year. Is it just, I don't want, but there are so many reasons, there are so many factors why the numbers may have dropped this way. One of it could be that somebody wants to create an impression that a campaign promise has been fulfilled, regardless of the number of people who benefit and eventually become, future leaders. I hope that is not the case, but I think it will be interesting and relevant for us to interrogate the numbers and find out why that drop. But all in all, like I said, we in the NDC believe that as prescribed by our constitution, every child of school-going age, especially at the basic level, must have free education. And remember, it was the NDC that spearheaded the writing of that constitution. It was the brains of the NDC that put together that constitution. And in that constitution, the brains at that time determined that there was a need for us at some point in our development to extend free education to people at the basic level and people at the SHS level, as and when resources were available. And that is what, that is why we are happy that there is that attempt to, meet this constitutional requirement. We, however, will continue to raise concerns where we see, so that solutions will be found to them. Thank you.
I know that I think in the late 80s, it was a National Consultative Assembly that put together the Constitution. So I'm wondering whether you say it's the brain behind the Constitution were only NDC members.
Well, it was but don't also forget, because you have raised it, don't also forget that the Consultative Assembly was set to be put up by Rollins.
Well, I do understand all that, but I'm saying that not everybody was through and through PNDC at the time.
Well, I'm saying they spearheaded it. I didn't say they wrote it.
Okay.
I'm saying they spearheaded it, and it's true. In fact, they said that the NDC shoeshine boys and people were those writing the Constitution.
No, that's the propaganda out there. So
really, Roland, didn't you see? You didn't hear the Ghana Bar Association and others issue statements on it?
Well, they may have issued statements.
Which one is the propaganda? Is it the one you are doing or the one I said?
I'm saying that was the propaganda out there, but we know that it's not true. There was no way Shushan boys could have written that.
Exactly, but that was the propaganda. But the propaganda was such that it was done.
I'm not denying that those comments were made.
Yes,
but I'm saying that that could not have been true.
Yes, but I'm saying that it was said so because they thought people had been put together to write a constitution that will suit Rawlings's whims and caprices. And so, if they give us the bad of the PNDC, they should give us the good of the PNDC as well.
I get your point.
Thank you.
Your reactions, please.
Roland, thank you. I'm very surprised at the line that my brother and good friend is taking. But I guess that obviously the NDC that we know, every good thing that is coming to Ghanaians, if it's not coming from them, they'll be trying to poo-poo it. And you recall the same thing happened with the Metro Mass scheme when it was being introduced. The same thing happened with the NHIS scheme. The same thing happened when we were introducing free maternal care for pregnant women. In fact, Roland, if you do remember when oil was first discovered and the samples were taken to Parliament, our friends from the other side poo-pooed it, and they said it was palm kernel oil, adrengo. Yeah? And we realized how they have mismanaged the economy. Roland, for every scheme that is being introduced, getting stakeholder buy-in and creating the right level of awareness for the scheme is extremely important. So if from the strategic direction, it is considered that stakeholder buy-in and thorough understanding of the key benefits of the scheme is critical, it makes absolute sense for the owners of the program to invest in educating the citizenry. And without knowing the cost of this level of investment, and without doing a proper understanding of the benefits of investing in the education of the citizenry, it's a bit far-fetched for my brother to come and say that so much money is being spent. Can I land?
Well, the NDC is worried, though. You have billboards and things. They feel that we're spending too much time investing in communicating
Roland,
as well as IEC materials than we should.
I think that the NDC should realize that 54% of Ghanaians gave the NPP 4 years to fix the economy and to make Ghana work. Okay? As of now, Ghanaians have believed in what His Excellency the President is doing. They are free to criticize. If the criticisms are genuine, we would consider, we would listen. But on this particular one, where they are trying to say that the aspect of educating the citizenry is not required, when a big scheme like this is being rolled out, I 100% disagree. Roland, part of the collaterals are these polo shirts that talk about free SHS and talk about access, equity, and quality. I brought it to give to my brother Suhini so that he can wear, since this is one of the good things that are happening for all Ghanaians.
You know the cost of a polo shirt.
Can I land?
I know a school in my community.
Can
if
I,
I
Roland,
had the money, I would have sent it to
Roland,
the school
with all due
because
respect,
they want some chalk. But thank you.
Roland, talking about chalk, you and I were in this studio. Was it Thursday or Friday? When his colleague said no schools use chalk. You remember?
About markets and the arguments.
Yes. Okay. And so you see, even among themselves, there's serious confusion as to whether.
I think you're talking about categories of schools.
No, that's not what he said. He says he's being around. Okay,
propaganda,
and there's no
propaganda.
George you're talking about George Lowe.
No, there wasn't George Lowe.
Who was it that day?
Neil Ante
Van der Poel.
Neil Ante Van der Poel. And your producers can play it. I mean, if I am talking propaganda, you can play that recording. You and I were here in this same studio. So, Roland, maybe they need to understand the whole thing about strategy through to execution and what elements, what start points are critical. And these are things that they should understand. But Roland, you do recall, and again, your producers can play. Honorable Leo Kran, he came out clearly when NPP were talking about free SHS, that it was impossible, and it was the most foolish thing that anybody could say. Okay, your producers can play it. Honorable Okudato Ablakwa made similar statements. Okay, your producers can play it. Okay, if you can't find it, I'll find a link for you and I'll let you play it. Listen, there are certain things that we should take the politics out of. We said we're going to do free SHS. Are we doing free SHS? Yes. Are Ghanaians benefiting from free SHS? Yes.
The argument is that it should have been covering second year and third years, not only first years.
Roland, it's not for them to tell us what we have to do.
Well, you have a manifesto.
We have. Have you read our manifesto?
No,
Is there anywhere in our manifesto where you see that we said that from first year we're going to implement free SHS from SHS 1 to SHS 3?
But you said free SHS. What did it mean?
Well, what we have now.
You didn't also state that it was only going to be for first years.
But what we have now, is it not free SHS?
For first years.
Is it not free SHS?
For first years.
But is it not free SHS?
For first years, yes.
So is it not free SHS?
Yes, for first years.
Thank you. You've said yes, and that's what answer that I wanted. So we are doing free SHS, and people are benefiting from free SHS. Okay, and Roland, let me tell you something, okay? In the past 10 years, this is absolutely the first time that SHS 1 students are going to school with the rest of the school, SHS 2 and SHS 3. Let him tell me that I'm lying. So if you talk about problems, okay, during your time, when you weren't even implementing such a big, bold initiative, you couldn't get the SHS 1s to go to school with the SHS 2s and SHS 3s. And you come and sit here and you are poo-pooing what we are doing. Roland, honestly, this is a great initiative. This is something good that is happening for Ghanaians. You're talking about the enrollment. Roland, with all due respect, again, your producers can do the checks. And you sort of...
You mean the placement?
Sorry, the placement.
Because I have some critical questions to ask.
You sort of made certain facts known, that there has been every assurance that all those who qualified, and again, the operative word is qualified, will be placed. Last week when I came, I did admit that there were some challenges, okay? But that wasn't taken away from the fact that they were all going to get placement. Roland, in terms of the monies that were supposed to be paid, as of Friday, the commitment to pay 20% of the budget to run the scheme had been transferred into the accounts of all participating schools. And you can check with the schools. It has been done. Okay? So what again is the challenge? Why are our friends from the other side?
On Friday, I was at the foyer or the frontages of the Ministry of Education.
Yeah.
And I got to see result slips of people, obviously. I'm a JHS person. I went through the system, so I know what the grades are. Of course, the grading system is different from what I went through. But there were people who had very good grades, and they didn't have placement at all. Now, they have to now go and compete for schools, which some of the parents, and we showed it live on TV, some of the parents said they could not associate with those schools because of certain indicators. One, they could not send their children far off to those schools. Secondly, the schools of choice initially they had made were very much distinct from those schools that they were made to select from. And then they thought that if this was because of free SHS, then they may as well pay for secondary schooling.
Roland, I'm sure that you do recall last week and even today.
That has resulted in thousands, if not about 100,000 students who have not been placed in schools at all, who have been made to choose schools for which obviously they would have to even perhaps rent hostels to sleep in, because the system has placed them as day schools in the new schools they are supposed to go, which is even far off from their current abode. These are critical concerns for which they have nobody perhaps to go and address those issues to, unless they come to Accra, the center, which used not to exist.
Roland, this is a new scheme that is being implemented. On this platform last week and today I've said that yes, there are some challenges that are being addressed. Okay, so yes, a few people are going through this inconvenience.
We have 100,000, they're just not few.
But well, I'm not sure of the source of the numbers that you're talking about. What I know is that the Minister of Education and both of his, or at least two of his deputies, I have heard them saying that these issues are being worked on and the issues are being addressed. There are two ways. You can look at the glass being half empty, or you can look at the glass being half full. I have never said that the implementation has been smooth. Okay? But let us be a bit more positive. There are some challenges. I've never heard the minister or his deputies come to say that they are not going to do anything about those that have qualified to gain entry into schools, that those people are not going to be looked at. I'm aware of the number of people that were working hard over the weekend to make sure that these challenges were addressed. And so, Roland, let me assure you that as far as I do remember, or as far as I can say, based on the information that's available to me, there's an admission of some of these teething problems, and it's almost normal with every new system that is being introduced. Okay, and the fact that those in control are saying that yes, we are aware of this, we'll do the right provisions to make sure that as far as possible we can address some of these challenges. I think that's a positive position to take. Okay, but let's look on the other side, on those that are just going to wake up, have their bath, pack their things.
I'm going to enjoy free school.
Go to the school, okay, and not pay a peswa. They'll be given the prospectus, and they start to enjoy the scheme. Okay, it's great. It's a joy to be part of a government that is delivering a big scheme like this. Roland, I'm not sure. I have heard a lot of testimonials from headmasters. Even yesterday, there was a statement that was going around on Facebook
by a teacher from Mabry Girls.
Apart from the teacher from Mabry Girls, there was another one from a pastor from one of the churches of Lachimota, who had said that annually they pay so much to take the awards or the wards of their congregation for scholarships, and that this year, thanks to free SHS.
Well, that is good, but the point is that we still have a lot more people. This one, they've qualified. It's not saying they haven't qualified.
Roland, I don't know what answer you want me to give apart from telling.
Well, you're not the education minister, so unfortunately, I'm supposed to be giving. I'm sorry. Roland, I'm sorry for all that. But that's a reality.
Roland, have I disputed what you are saying?
No, you have not.
Have I given you the assurance that the authorities are aware of the situation and are working on it? Have I?
I'm supposed to answer. Yes, you have.
Okay, so beyond these two positions, as we sit here.
But school is starting today.
Roland, school is starting today, yes. There are a few people that are going through some challenges, and these challenges are being addressed. Okay, don't forget where we have come from. We have come from a situation where SHS ones, when they were not enjoying free SHS, were not going to school on day one. And I challenge my brother Suhini to tell me if I'm lying. For more than 10 years. Okay, this is the first time that this has happened. Okay, so let us not look at the few challenges and rubbish the whole thing. He was talking about the educational campaign. I've explained to your viewers why it is necessary to ensure that the citizenry understand what free SHS is about. I've explained to you and your viewers what it is, okay, why the implementers of the scheme.
Explained. Can I come in now?
Why
it's explained already, so he's just rehashed.
Let him learn.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
Why the implementers of the scheme, okay, in their wisdom, are doing things the way that they are doing. It's not for him. He can suggest.
So your point is that we should take the positives more.
Whilst
the issues are being resolved.
Exactly the point, and that is what every good manager should be doing in everything. Okay, that is the important.
Well, I have
thing.
people in my community who say very good things, but on my lane as well, I have one or two other students who are in the situation of the more evils, or perhaps.
Roland, I perfectly understand. If we sit here next week, next 2 weeks, okay, and you still...
Because just opposite me, I have somebody who is going to St. Augustine's, and that's great. And I congratulated the student, etc. But just on that same lane, I have somebody who has not been placed at all.
Roland, if we sit here next 2 weeks, and you have these complaints being as massive as you are suggesting,
then we can have a cause to worry.
We can have a cause to worry,
okay.
And then we can talk about who should take whose stone.
All right.
Okay, but for now, in the interest of Ghana, okay, let us embrace this policy. Let us congratulate those that are implementing this policy. Let us wish them well. Let us urge them to correct the teething problems. And to the beneficiaries, okay, they should make the most of this opportunity. Like my brother said, these are our future leaders. These are people that are going to take over the mantle of leadership of this country in the next couple of years. And it's important that we invest in their education. I look forward to a Ghana where getting enrollment in the public school will be the biggest thing that happens since sliced bread. I'm looking forward to a Ghana where the curriculum of the public school will be so crucial that there will be no reason for private schools to be seen as the best things that, or the best schools to place awards. And I'm looking forward, and I'm aware that the Minister of Education is looking at all these things, and these are some of his topmost priorities, and he will deliver. So our friends from the other side, we are in a comfortable lead to deliver free SHS. Ghanaians are going to start enjoying free SHS, and this is in line with our policy of creating equal opportunities for all Ghanaians.
Please wrap up for me on this subject, and we'll move on to the subject of the NDC unity working internally.
You know, there's a local artist in the north. In fact, he's become a national star.
Fancy
Gadam, who
I
has
like him very
his
much.
latest song in collaboration with Sarkodie, and the title is Total Cheat. You know,
he had 15,000 people in the
yes,
stadium the other day.
Yes, and he talks about how a lady paints herself and pretends to be a virgin, only for him to take the lady home to find out that she's actually a born-tree virgin. And that is a song I dedicate always to the NPP. Each time they attempt to implement what they promised before the elections, it comes to the fore that indeed their campaign was simply based on deception, and they cheated the people of Ghana. And instead of telling the people of Ghana that they were born trays, they presented themselves as virgins. And in the governance, we are seeing that indeed they are born tray virgins. Like I opened with the promise of the choice that Ghanaians were presented with. The NDC on the one hand presented progressively free SHS. The MPP on the other hand presented free SHS. And in their manifesto, chapter 9, page 116, it says, it talks about education and how they are going to, you know, go about ensuring that we have a better educational system in the country. And on free SHS, which is relevant. They say A, free education for all Ghanaian children up to senior high school. Free education for all Ghanaian children up to senior high school to ease the burden on parents and guardians while encouraging them to assume their responsibility for the social upbringing and parental control of their children. So the NDC presented progressively free SHS, and they said no, 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 and you know that they disagreed. Yet, like he couldn't answer you, it is progressive because now it is only for first years. Complete cheat, total Bontre virgins. Now, again, he talks of teething challenges. You recall that the pledge was first made in 2008 by His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo. And this is a man who, for the best part of his adult life, has prepared himself to be president. And we first heard of some of the intentions that he had in 2008, and one of such intentions was free SHS. One would have thought that for a man like that who has prepared himself using the better part of his adult life to prepare to be president, implementation of such promises would not have problems, because he has been working at it and has been promising it since only God knows how long, for how long now. But you see, I am not surprised. Like the Hajj in Tamale that had problems, I am not surprised that almost every policy that they have tried to introduce, like the planting for food and jobs, that the minister later came back to admit that they didn't plan it well, and so they are having challenges. It is the same thing we are seeing with this. But why is this? Why am I not surprised? Because even on the big day for the president, the day he was sworn in, after all the life, all the time that he has spent trying to be president, on the swearing in day, even that day he wasn't prepared. He didn't have a speech and had to steal a speech to read. So that should tell you how unprepared he has been all these years. Yet many people would have thought that for a man like that, who has been working so hard for this opportunity, he will not have these challenges, because he would have had his brief and, you know, his plans and everything in place and ready to roll. But
now the program is rolling.
Well, but you see,
tomorrow is the official launch.
It is sad that my brother sits here and says that, yes, there are over 100,000 students who haven't been placed. Their parents are having challenges, but he is a happy man.
Okay.
You see, what is the use of a government?
So, let me apprise you of this. The Daily Graphic is reporting that since the CSSPS system came in, we've had the backlog. In 2013, we had 90,000 students who were not placed at all. In 2014, 113,000. In 2015, 115,000. And just last year, 111,000. So it's not something out of place.
And what is this year's number?
This year, the graphic is reporting about 140,000.
Okay. So that's the point I am making. That and you are talking about 100 and what thousand for last year?
11,000.
And how many students were placed?
We're talking about those not placed at all. That's the backlog.
But you see, get the effect.
Those who don't get to go to school.
You get the effect of it.
So have to go to private or something.
You get the effect of it when you juxtapose that against those who have been placed. And remember, when I opened, I talked about the numbers that were placed last year. About 450,000 were placed. So this year, if 450,000 were placed and you had about 100,000 that were not placed, and this year you have only about 200 and something thousand placed, and yet you have over 140,000 not
yet placed.
It tells you, you see, the bigger the number, it is like percentages. When you have 6,000 or 60,000 and then you get 40,000 plays, it is understandable that 100,000 will not be placed. Not acceptable, but understandable. But when you have just 30,000 to deal with, 300,000 to deal with, and you still manage not to be able to place 100,000, you shouldn't be happy. What's the use of a government if it is not to make life comfortable for
the numbers are 420,000 we're told. But let's move on to the NDC's unity. Let's move on to the NDC's unity.
You had more time in the second time than I did. If you come in again, it's not going to be fair, right?
I concede for the rest of the problem.
Roland, he has had more time in the second bite than I did.
I have a responsibility.
If he comes in, it's not going to be fair. If you have time, then give it to me. If you don't have time, then we move.
Okay, so we're talking the NDC unity walk. And it took place over the weekend.
Right.
Good one there, but how would you describe the program in itself? I'm sure that you attended.
Yes, I did. All in all, I think that it was magnificent, program. The people of Tamale showed that indeed the NDC lost the 2016 general election gallantly, and that we were not disgraced as a party at all. And why should we be? Because we have a legacy that we can be proud of. And my brother here, even when we discussed free SHS, admitted that the infrastructure that is facilitating this free SHS that they are rolling out was put up by our administration. And that is a strong legacy that we should be proud of. And that was what we continuously told people during the election period, that we're putting in place infrastructure that will lead to transformation and growth in the country. And so the people of Tamale, being aware of this, remain resolute when it comes to their support for the NDC. Yes, after the results, many people had reservations about how the campaign was prosecuted, and it is only expected when you engage in any contest and you don't get the desired results. There will be frustrations, there will be anger, there will be disappointment, and people have various forms of expressing some of these feelings. Some can do that by way of attacking others, fortunately not physically, because that is not the nature of the NDC today. We believe in dialogue, we believe in disagreements, but we believe most importantly in the right of everyone to express himself freely. So after the elections, you saw that manifest in the NDC. People expressed their disappointment, their anger, their frustration in various ways. But thankfully, none got violent. Now, after 8 months, the party is beginning to refocus and redirect its energies into, reorganizing the party for the next battle ahead. And that is why when two members of the party, Honorable Kojo Bonsu, former mayor of Kumasi, and General Hamidu Akamba, who is a national executive officer, floated the idea of organizing a walk that will bring out the base of the party to focus on the need for us to get over the disappointment of the defeat and the disagreements that has ensued and refocus. Many people in the party supported it. They traveled to the northern region, met with the regional executives of the party. The regional executives embraced the idea. And then the numbers you saw on the streets of Tamale came out only because they heard that there was going to be a walk on radio and on social media. They either heard it on radio or they saw it on social media. That was the only organization that went on as far as the walk was concerned.
Nobody was bashed.
The only organization I know, because I have a constituency in Tamale, that went on was that announcements were placed on radio And then social media, people spoke about it and wrote about it on social media. And that is what brought the streets of Tamale to a standstill that Saturday. The energy that the people started with the walk for over three hours was not dissipated. I mean, it was so energetic from the beginning to the end. And at some point, some of us were even worried for some of the dignitaries who were there. General Mosquito, the General Secretary, our previous president and flag bearer, President Mahama, were there, and were worried for them. But they decided to also mingle with the people and allow for the energy to be directed to party building. And the speeches were phenomenal. I mean, the minority leader took advantage to even speak about the free SHS. And the former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, also talked about how you cannot rule the people with propaganda, and why he thinks that it was God's own way of, telling the people of Ghana who was truthful to them. Because he said, for example, that if the NDC didn't lose the 2016 elections, some people would have perhaps today imagined and argued that if Nanado had won, fuel prices would have come down. But only last Sunday, we saw what happened. Fuel prices are still going up. In fact, I have some information that I'm working on that instead of 4193 increment, there is some backdoor subsidy that MPA is trying to introduce, which may be good, but then again, it will go against their campaign position. And remember, I talked about total cheat. Now, people would have thought that, oh, Nanado will reduce fuel prices. Some people would have thought that, oh, if Nanado had won, he would have reduced the electricity bills that we are paying. Some people would have said that, oh, if Nanado had won,
he would have implemented free
SHS. Every young person would have had a job. Oh, if Nanado had won, he would have implemented free SHS. He wouldn't have implemented a progressive free SHS. But we see what he's doing. And that is why I agree with President Mahama that it was God's own way of telling the people of Ghana that, look, we knew that times were hard, but like Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah focused on, we're looking at generational development, not just instant gratification that will make, that will not last, that will not sustain the country. They talked about restoring teacher allowances without a focus on the future needs of teachers in this country, and even the future job satisfaction of teachers in this country. And we said, yes, it was a painful thing to take your allowances out, but we're looking at how you will graduate as teachers with better certificates, with better bargaining power, where you will have better conditions of service as teachers, teaching in classrooms that you'll be proud of, and also producing more teachers, because many students who couldn't get access to the training colleges were getting the access. They said, oh, we will make sure that we will restore it. Now they are in power. They have reduced the number of people who can go to training college, reducing opportunities for people to have that certificate to become teachers and earn a living for themselves. They said they were restoring their allowances. You know the meaning of restoration. Yet what are we seeing? Total cheat. Instead of 400 Ghana cedis that they were getting, now they are telling them that they are giving them only 200 and something Ghana cedis, and it's rerouted through the loans, the student loan scheme. What is even the guarantee that after you become a teacher, you won't see some deductions on your pay slip? And then the argument again, like they are renegotiating, they'll begin to renegotiate again. They will give reasons. They say it's an allowance, but why is an allowance being paid by a loan scheme? Have you ever seen a loan scheme giving freebies to people? So I am saying that, like, they deceived during the campaign in the free SHS for all. Now they are doing progressive, and all the examples I've given, you never know, you may graduate and become a teacher one day. You see deductions on your this thing, student loan, this thing, and then you complain. They say, oh, they will come with another excuse again. But we thank God that God tested us the way he did, and we are reorganizing, we are rebuilding. And inshallah, 2020, I'm sure the people of Ghana would have seen the candor and the honesty of the NDC.
You should be worried then as MPP. 2020 is just around the corner.
Brilliant. It's it's unfortunate that my brother and friend is just looking at propaganda capital. It's unfortunate that even after you have given him the data to show the relationship between those that qualified and those that at the end of the year got placement.
In terms of what the trends are, has been over
Are
the
we
last
still
couple of
discussing this matter, Roland? Then you are not being fair to me if you allow for us to discuss free SHS. Roland.
In terms of...
No, you mentioned free SHS.
In terms of what the trends are.
We're talking unity talk, right?
Yes.
Okay.
In terms of what the trends are, you take an endpoint
you gave
position.
him more time. I understood for us to move on, but he's still smuggling that discussion through the back.
When you can think far, if you want to think far, you can think far.
Yeah,
okay. You
fair.
made reference to free SHS 3 times in your presentation, and that is why I've also decided that I'll use part of my time to talk about free SHS.
If you want us to discuss the free SHS, let's have time and discuss it.
We're talking unity talk.
Yes, we're talking unity talk, but it is my time. So, if you are comparing an end year position to a beginning position, the operative words are the number that were placed and the number that are yet to be placed. So if at the end of the placement, you are comparing these figures and you can show that there's no improvement, then yes, I would understand. Okay, so let us not look at a wrong base and do some wrong back of the envelope calculation and try and confuse people. Okay? Again, it is not His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's it's not his fault that a number of people did not attain the qualification or the qualifying grade to be placed. You understand? So the base itself that you're looking at, okay, there's a system. Roland, it's interesting that you've been able to show that this is a systemic problem. It's not a problem that is isolated to 2017 placement, okay? And for me, I think the biggest thing is that the Minister of Education and his team have clearly stated that they have identified these issues and they're working around the clock to ensure that they will all be placed. Now, Roland, I'm sure that we all have heard that there was a Professor Kwesi Boche team or report that was done to try and understand what led to the loss of the NDC. I also know that in a good book, it says that thou shalt not mention the name of the Lord thy God in vain. It's there. It's not because of politics that we look up to the sky and we mention God's name and then we'll be lying through our teeth. Roland, with all due respect, if you read the Professor Kwesi Boche report, it is clear what the issues that led...
Have you seen the report?
I have read it.
You have read the report?
Yes, I have read it. You would see clearly.
You just talked about lying.
Have you read the report?
Why are you
sure that it's an internal document.
Why are we not in Ghana?
You just talked about lying.
Okay.
I have seen the report, or I've seen a version of the report that shows the reasons why that team believes led to the loss of the NDC.
Sad.
Okay? Indeed. If we say that, or if they say that they were the most united party in Africa, and again, your producers can play that recording, where they were going around saying that they were the most united party in Africa, why would they be looking at the unity walk? When did they realize that they were disunited? Roland, when did they realize that they were disunited? They lost the election because of incompetence, because of corruption, because of economic mismanagement. You used 8 years to destroy this economy. His Excellency, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has had 8 months. When was the last time that we seriously experienced them so? One district, one factory is being rolled out. Look at all the economic indices. They are pointing in the right direction. Okay? The truth must be told. Free SHS is being rolled out. And indeed, Roland, if this is a real unity walk or a march for unity, why wasn't His Excellency, the former president's running mate, part of it?
Who?
Emisata.
Okay.
Okay. Why wasn't the chairman and leader of the NDC part of it? Why wasn't somebody like Kweku Anyidohu part of it? Why wasn't the founder of the NDC?
They were all not present?
Let me tell you the truth. They were not present. If you are talking about unity, I think those of us that are outside, the people that have been criticizing the party, the founder of the NDC, his wife, okay, who broke away and formed a different party. Even in the spirit of true unity, Roland, it just makes common sense that these individuals would have been there. Why weren't the people, most of the people that have expressed an interest in running, okay, the 2020 primaries for the flag bearership of the NDC, Nyamwale, Ekospio Gabra, why weren't these people there? Okay, Roland, if you look at this thing, you get the impression that this...
But the fact that they were not there doesn't mean that there were not lots of people who potentially, if we should go to the polls today, will go and vote for the NDC.
Roland, you see, for some of us...
And you may not know the reasons why these individuals were not there.
Roland, for some of us...
Besides, we're told that there will be an Accra Unity Walk.
Roland, for some of us, we know that the president has been given a 4-year term. Okay? Not everything can happen in day one. And so far, with the 8 months in office, we are quite happy that the people of Ghana has given us an opportunity to serve them, an opportunity to fix the economy, an opportunity to fix Dumso, an opportunity to introduce free SHS, an opportunity to do so many things that are forming the building blocks to putting Ghana on the right path. Okay? But I'm asking again, in the spirit of real unity, why wasn't the founder there? Indeed, even the founder was not available on that date. Wouldn't it have made perfect sense to choose a date that you will show that the founder and the former president are working hand in hand? Okay, that would communicate the true spirit of unity that you are talking about. This is a facade. And for us in the NDC, in the MPP, we are clear of the mandate that the people of Ghana have given to us. We are clear that we have a 4-year term. We are clear that His Excellency the President is on the right path. We are clear on our mandate to serve with honesty, with humility, and we are doing all the hard work. We are clear that the economic mismanagement that they left for us is something that we are fixing and we are getting out of the hole. And we are clear that discerning Ghanaians know what it is. Indeed, Roland, it's funny that my brother can sit here and create the impression that if you have 3 children, it means you are less of a citizen.
Oh my
Indeed.
God.
No, he was alluding to a song by one artist called...
Roland, I am telling you that he on this station, on this platform,
he
created the
all
impression
the time
that three children virgin. Okay, if you say something, it's something that you believe in.
You know, I've been in the media. I know you guys. You do it so well.
We know that all Ghanaians are equal.
Unfortunately, my time is up.
For us,
I'm hitting the half a month. I can't give you more.
For us,
Roland, you see,
we know that we are serving.
For a man who thinks that if you are not married,
we are serving.
For a man who thinks if you are not married, it's a problem.
Oh, please.
To do this kind of propaganda,
is a member of parliament for Tamale North, and Georganda is a member of parliament for Utu Senya West. He is also a deputy minister of communications.